Okay, so this is the nuts and bolts presentation about how to give the presentation. I'm doing it from here just so I can kind of show you a little bit about how to use the podium. I've also got some stuff on the screen. I don't think you can see it on there, but I do have a kind of an outline, and I'll put it up on Google Classroom, how to present, or just like some key presentation things. So let me start. I'm going to start with introduction and conclusion because those are really two of the big focus areas for any presentation you give. I would say ever, not just in my class. And certainly when we do our TED Talks, introduction is crucial. So you got to start immediately. So right when you come up here, I think there's a feeling of coming up here and being like, okay, what button do I push, or am I ready, or how? And you can't. Okay, the very first words you see are your introduction. So when you come up here, right from the start, so you walk up, the theme of blah, 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 or something like that. And that's a terrible introduction because I don't want you to just say your thesis right away. I want you to start with some sort of an attention getter. But you don't come up and say anything other than the start of your presentation. Okay, so please start immediately. Story, startling statement, question, humor, a demonstration, some kind of reference to the audience. Those are the ways to start, not with just your thesis statement. So you can't come up and say, the theme of power in the crucible is very important. Okay, that's not the deal. Some sort of attention getter, and then lead into what your whole presentation is about. Okay, your first words are crucial. They should be interesting. They should be engaging and kind of eye-opening and make people think. You can absolutely refer to the audience. You know, as you saw in the Crucible, when we read the Crucible, many characters made really difficult decisions. Okay, again, not great doing this off the top of my head, but something other than my name is and my presentation is. We're not doing that. Okay, or I'm presenting on the theme and no, that's not what we're doing. Okay, some sort of other attention getter. All right, next would be the conclusion. When you conclude, we need to know you're finished, and we all will clap when you're finished, and you will not say, that's it, or I'm done, or any questions, or thank you. None of that is a conclusion. You will conclude with a wrap-up statement of some kind, and you will drop your voice and slow down, and we'll know you're finished. So, let's say we gave a presentation about how, and so Honors English 10 is my favorite class of the day. So you'd end it with, and that's why Honors English 10 is my favorite class of the day. So I slowed down, dropped my voice. Same sentence. And that's why Honors English 10 is the very favorite class of the day. Okay, same words I said, but we can't tell I'm finished unless you slow down and drop your voice. And that's why Honors English 10 is my favorite class of the day. And then we know that you're done, we know to clap. There can't be that confusion. You felt that confusion before, someone finishes, you think they're done, and you're in the audience like, do I clap, do I not clap, are they finished, are they not? There should be no confusion about if you're finished or if you're not finished. All right, so that would be conclusion. Eye contact, it's just really, really important, and I'm looking at the camera right now, but it's important that you get your eyes up and that you look to all members of the audience. It's important that you move from all the way over to there to all the way over there. Why do we make eye contact? To engage our audience. If you do not look at the audience, if you spend a lot of time looking at the screen or looking down or looking over the top of people, it's just not okay. All right, and you know when you're listening to someone present, and they look right at you, that it locks you into that presentation. There's no trick for eye contact. And I think it's one of the hardest things for student speakers to do. Make eye contact with individual members of the audience. Okay, just like I'm doing right now, you just look at them, and that's who you're talking to. How can you not look at them while you do it? That's a very, very crucial thing. Gestures and posture. Okay, so the podium will be your home base here. You can see I'm standing here, and I have my legs crossed underneath. I think you want to avoid some things with the posture and gestures and with the podium. One thing would be to avoid this. Okay, something where you're moving back and forth a lot at the podium and it starts to get a little sway going and the audience wants to sway with you. You need to stay still. Okay, now I do cross my legs underneath. Sometimes people say locking your knees or something, you're going to pass out. Just be aware, be careful. But just standing here. My hands are on the podium. They are home base. If you have a note card, absolutely you can hold a note card. Sometimes I like to hold a pen. If you've noticed that with me, sometimes when I public speak, I have a pen with me. It's not to do this to, okay, or to fiddle with or anything. You should not be fiddling with anything. But your hand should return to home base, which is right here on the podium. Okay, so you should not be back here with hands in pockets or behind your back or like this or anything like that when you present. And I would like to just throw out there, all of these things I'm saying right now are for any presentation for the rest of your life unless told otherwise by a teacher that you need to do a certain thing. So, your hands are not in your pockets, they're not crossed, they're not behind your back. okay? And you're not like leaning on the podium or whatever, like just standing up straight, rest your hands on the podium as home base. Now when you want to gesture, you just gesture. You know, as I told you everybody, I know we all read the Crucible and you just comfortably gesture. I a lot of times come back to this, and you can also come back to here, okay? But hands can get awkward, but this home base can be really, really good for you. Again, if you have a note card, and I drop my note card, I may as well talk about that right now as well. If there's a mess up, okay, you drop the little clicker thing, you drop your note card. It's okay. Like you're just a human up there teaching us something. It's okay. Oh, I dropped my note card. Just a second. Let me grab it. Like whatever. That's fine. Okay, so minor mix-ups are nothing. Minor stumbling over words, it's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen because you're not memorizing the presentation. Relax. Just talk to us and teach us what you want to teach us. So gesturing, again, just common gestures. If you want to count, there's two main reasons I want to talk about this, or just kind of these kinds of comfortable gestures you should do. If you are a terrible gesturer, then you should probably not gesture. Okay, so if you're like, there are two main reasons why the Crucible was a really important play, and I just don't ever gesture. Just like rest your hands here and chill. But I do think that would help if you periodically move your hands to help gesture a little bit, can come back together, and then come back to home base on the podium. All right, let's see. Voice, you're going to go fast because that's what happens when you public speak. The problem is going to be with the masks, and you're going to have to make sure that you're loud enough for all of us to hear you. I would also say the number one thing with your voice would be to be natural with your voice, to have, sometimes you talk louder, like if you're telling somebody a story, sometimes you talk louder, sometimes quieter, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, sometimes you pause, sometimes you don't, so you need to be natural like that, as opposed to what some public speakers do is just get really monotone and flat, same tone, and they just say the words. Okay, I think the information that you're conveying is important, but absolutely it's been proven that how you convey that information, the nonverbal things that you do, the eye contact, the voice changes, the gestures, the comfort level, are much, much more important than even the actual words that you're saying. So you've got to go ahead and have some voice changes. A little bit higher, a little bit slower, a little bit lower, emphasize something. Go ahead and use your facial expressions, a little bit of laughter, a little bit of smiling, or whatever, but just to be very, very natural up here and talk like you normally would if you're telling a story to your friends. Let's see, voice. If you want to use a visual aid, okay, so you're going to have your presentation up here, and we can't act like that's not there, okay, so definitely it's absolutely fine to move back. As you can see right here, the key theme is this, then come back to home base. As you can see on my second slide right here, I've got a picture right here of John Proctor. That's from the movie. I know we didn't watch the movie in class, but so just conversationally like that. If you want to refer to something up here and move towards it, that's great. If you want to stay here and refer to it, that's great. We know it's up there. You may as well talk about it. And as you can see on this quote right here, and then if you need to look here to read the quote, I'm good with that. Okay, I'm absolutely good with that. But then you've got to get away from there. You cannot spend a lot of time either even turned this way or talking to the screen. This is you need to center out here, talk to the people, and if you need to turn to get to the screen for a second, that's fine. Very much periodically. It can't be like, and that's because Abigail made the decision to leave. And because just going like this and this and this and this is not okay. All right? These are the people you're talking to. They can see the screen. If you want to have a printout here and hold it, as you can see on the second slide right here, it says that, and look down a little bit, I'm fine with that, but natural, but the eye contact's going to be crucial. If most of your eye contact is there, or here, or over, or under, or if you're staring at your visual aid, okay, that's a problem. Can't do that. Or if you're staring at your note card the whole time, can't do that. But use it natural. Disclaimer, so you can't, nothing up here about, oh, I'm so nervous, or am I going to be okay, or anything like that. There's no need to say anything like that, and I already said your introduction starts with your first words. So I'll call your name, you'll be out there, and you'll come walking up. Pride. Pride is something that everybody has, but, okay, again, probably not a great example, but that's the tone, and that when you come up here, you start your presentation. Speech content, let's make sure there's some flow between your subtopics. So not that you just click the button and you'll be holding the little thing here. Not that you just click the button and the next one is a totally different topic, or like you just read the first line up there. You know, the next thing you really want to focus on that Abigail did is, well, as you can see, that Abigail was blah, 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 you know, some flow between your topics, not just click, next slide, click, next slide. And then, yeah, I guess the key thing, the last thing written down is just to be you. So I don't want you to act. I don't want you, it's happened before sometimes where people go into kind of like theatrical mode up here. I don't want theatrical mode, okay, and that's not really public speaking, that's acting. But certainly I also don't want robotic mode, okay, that's not public speaking either. And you shouldn't be reading stuff or memorizing stuff or searching for that one word, okay, you're just teaching us and presenting to us. So absolutely non-robotic, comfortable, planned, organized, okay, not memorized. All right, I think that's all I have. As far as the conclusion, I already went over that, so I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to do a sample presentation for you tomorrow. Those are kind of the X's and O's or the nuts and bolts of how you should present. Thanks, I'll see you tomorrow.